Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am GW. I'm here at the GW recording studio. How about that? So it's been a week or two since I've done one of these, so I just wanted to catch everybody up on some of the politics that are going on in the world. If you hadn't noticed, the Democrats and the Republicans are having an election this year, and it should be kind of exciting. It was one that was going to be of two old men. Now it's one old man and a lady who is going to be running for president. Both of them running for president, thinking that the other one is the wrong choice. So it's kind of interesting as you do this. So before I really get started, though, if you like these, please go down the corner, subscribe, follow, whatever it is that I want you to do. I would love to hear from you and hear how you think I'm doing or not doing. But please let me know. I would look forward to it. So bottom line, as we do this, is we have politics that are in play during this particular year, and they're in play in the Democratic Party and in the Republican Party. Now, the Republican Party had a convention about a month ago, and it went as expected. I mean, we all knew that Donald Trump was going to be the representative for the Republican Party to run for president. Now, whether we're for or against Donald Trump is really beyond the point. It doesn't really matter. It only matters that they had a convention and they said that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, as his vice president candidate, were going to be the candidates for president and vice president of these here United States. Well, it was an interesting convention. I'm sure that the Republican Party thinks of it as a great success. You know, they hauled out all the old folks that they could. They hauled out some of the celebrities that they could bring out. They had speeches by lots of different individuals who were trumpeting how great Trump is, and there was a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of just activity that was going on. My opinion, for what it's worth, my opinion is that it felt like, and I gotta say that this is a lot like many conventions that I've witnessed in the past, and I've been watching these conventions all my life. Lots of times, the enthusiasm, the excitement, the oh my gosh, is absolutely forced. It's one of those things that everybody knew what the answer was going to be, and we're going to go, and people are paying a lot of money to go there, and it's kind of in many people's political life, it is the ultimate activity that they're ever going to do in their political life. They're going to be one of the delegates at this convention, and they go nuts, whether they think they need to or not. It's forced, and that is definitely what I felt like with the Republican convention this year. And it's not that unusual to have it that way. It was totally within the realm of what happens at a political convention. Well, after they had their convention, then Joe Biden decided that he wasn't going to run for president. And that threw the Democratic Party with about 2.5, 3 weeks to plan for their convention after he did that. That threw them into a really challenging position because they had the vice president who was part of his ticket. And at the time when Joe Biden resigned or said that he was not going to run for president anymore, it really was in a position that the only viable candidate was Vice President Harris. And the fact that Vice President Harris is 25 years, 30 years younger than Joe Biden absolutely went nuts. The difference in the field between the Republican and the Democratic Party. The Democrats went in there, their enthusiasm was real. They hadn't had 18 months of this person having known that she was going to be the candidate. They'd had 3 weeks, and they were celebrating. They went absolutely crazy. And it was good to watch. Now, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. What did matter is that this was different. It was different than most conventions that you have ever watched, national conventions that you have ever watched in any of your lives. If you think that the enthusiasm and the sign waving and everything that happened at the Trump convention was really any different than what happened at the Obama convention, I don't think it was. I honestly don't think it was. And if you take a look at George W. Bush and his conventions and the flag waving and everything that they had there, go back to Jimmy Carter, for crying out loud. 1976, go back to his convention, watch that. See if you don't get the feel that, okay, this was a known entity. This was not a surprise. This is not a, wow, we've had to get behind the guy. They've been behind the person forever. And so they go with that. Kamala Harris was not that way. She was too new as a candidate to be that way. She embraced the enthusiasm. It was really exciting. Now, the other thing you had, both conventions, and again, absolutely no surprise on either one of these, is that both conventions were amazingly short on specifics of what they were going to do. It is very difficult for a politician, a national politician, to sit there and go, this is what's going to happen. I am going to make this happen. Politics is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You cannot go into a convention and declare that massive changes are going to happen just because you're elected president. The bureaucracy that happens in Washington, D.C. slows everything down, and you have to take that into effect as you're doing that. So being short on specifics is not a surprise. Both parties are being criticized greatly for that. Both parties are going to have a debate here shortly. And that is going to be interesting because the debate not venue, but the agenda on the debate is going to try to be very focused. I mean, the news people who are running that and asking the questions are going to try to keep it focused. Both candidates will do their best to just answer a little bit and then say words that they want to say. It's 10 weeks right now to the election. Harrison Walz appears to be in the lead. But 10 weeks is a great deal of time. If you don't think so, just ask the French, who just had a bunch of elections. Ask the British or the Canadians, who have, an election can be, a government can be called anytime, and they have an election within 90 days. So 10 weeks is a really great deal of time. And the nitpicking of the personalities of just beginning, not so much of Trump, is clear. But the nitpicking of Kamala Harris, and particularly her vice presidential candidate, Tim Walz, and J.D. Vance, Trump's vice presidential candidate, the nitpicking is going to be really, really important, because how they react to that is a good indicator of how they're going to act when things get tough in the presidential office. So it's going to be an exciting time. Debate in 2 weeks, that could be decisive. That could be decisive. If I don't anticipate either party will have a debate like the Democratic president had, that Biden had the last time. Each party will come out of that saying that they won the debate. Each party will have very strong points that they did well or didn't do well. It's going to be a good time. I love national politics. It's going to be great. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Please follow me, subscribe, do whatever it is you got to do down at the bottom, and be on the lookout. I put these out every now and then. Hopefully you like it. I'm GW. And this is my podcast. Thanks.